Good morning, Hayom Yom, Chof Vuv Iyar, the 41st day of the Omer. So today's Hayom Yom is taken from a letter that the Friediker Rebbe wrote to someone in Winnipeg, Canada. And he was writing to him on the subject of criticism, on the subject of rebuke. And he told him that rebuke, criticism have their place, but it needs to be done in the proper way. It needs to be done in the Torah approach. And there is even a pasuk, there is a verse in the Torah that tells us to rebuke people that if we see somebody doing something wrong, if we see someone acting in a disgusting way, to tell them off, to criticize them, to rebuke them. The pasuk says, rebuke people. But the Friediker Rebbe told him to understand the proper approach, to understand the Torah approach to rebuke and to criticism, we have to look at the full context of the pasuk. And the pasuk begins, before it says it says first, don't hate your brother in your heart. Don't bear any ill will towards your brother. And only then does it say, rebuke him. And the Rebbe explained the reason why it predicates rebuke on first not hating your brother, on not feeling any hatred or animosity towards him, is because it's telling us don't be so quick to criticize others. Don't be so quick to rebuke others. Only rebuke someone, only criticize someone, if it's coming purely from a place of love. If your sole intention is to help the other person. Then it might not be pleasant to rebuke someone, but you are going to try to do it as delicately as possible. Because your intention is not to hurt them, your intention is not to offend them, your intention is to help them out. But if you're full of judgment, if you're full of hatred, if you're full of animosity, if you resent the other person, then don't rebuke them. Because your intention properly, if not fully, is to hurt them, is to insult them, is to put them down. And that is not the point of rebuke, that is not the point of criticism. The point of criticism is to help the other person out. Now, obviously, on a side note, this is all with regards to us criticizing others, with us wanting to give a sharp word to somebody else. But Torah always says that if somebody else criticizes me, if somebody rebukes me, then I should not say, oh, that person's a schmuck, that person's a shmendik. Who's that person? That person doesn't know what he's talking about. That person's a bad person, which is what we do naturally as humans. We get very, very defensive. And that is not a good Torah approach. We are meant to be very humble. We are meant to take rebuke. We are meant to take criticism from wherever it may come, from whoever may tell it to us. And the truth is, it says, the more it hurts you, the more it offends you, probably the more true it is. If it wasn't true, you probably wouldn't care. The fact that you care so much, the fact that it stings so badly, means it's probably true, and you should take a look in the mirror and you should take it. But with regards to criticizing others, with regards to rebuking others, we have to be a lot more selective with our criticism. And then the Rebbe continued to say that the Torah approach to criticism is, we view it like a medical procedure. In a medical procedure, we hurt the person very badly. We cut them very deeply. But the purpose, obviously, is not to hurt the other person, is not to wound the other person, but to help the other person, to fix the other person's body. And because of that, he says, since it's impersonal, we're just trying to help them, we're going to do everything we can to make it as painless as possible. And he said, we often numb them with ice to make the cut not hurt so much, to make them not feel it so strongly, so badly. And imagine, we basically trust doctors because we know it's impersonal. We know the doctor's trying to help us. But even if you were very sick, but the only doctor was your worst enemy who wanted to kill you, you would not let him anywhere close to you with a knife, right? So in the same way, he said, only approach other people with a knife, only approach other people with rebuke if you're viewing it like you're a doctor. It's impersonal, 100% impersonal. You're just doing it to help them. You're just doing it out of love. You just want to help them and fix them. If there's any judgment, if there's any resentment mixed in, if there's any hatred mixed in, if there's any animosity, do not approach them with a knife. Keep your mouth shut. Don't rebuke them. And then the Friediker Rebbe continued. At the end of the verse says, Lo sisa lav chet. Don't sin on his account, or don't bear a sin because of him. And what that means in the simple sense, the way Rashi explains it, is that although you have a mitzvah to rebuke other people, don't sin in the act of rebuking other people. Because you have to rebuke him, but you can't embarrass him unnecessarily. So don't embarrass him in public. And if you do embarrass someone in public, then in the act of fulfilling the mitzvah of rebuke, you will have committed one of the worst averos in the Torah, one of the worst sins possible, which is to embarrass somebody else publicly. So in the act of rebuke, don't bear a sin. Don't commit a sin on his account by embarrassing him in public. But the Friediker Rebbe explained it in a very, very beautiful way. And he interpreted it as follows. He said, if you rebuke someone and it doesn't work, they don't take it from you, they don't listen, so don't put the sin on him. Don't point the finger at him. Don't place the blame on him. Don't place the sin on him. Don't say it's his fault that Shmendrik, he's not open to criticism, he's not open to rebuke, this guy's not open to change. What we often do when we criticize someone and they don't listen to us is we point the finger at them, we blame them. He said, no. Don't place the sin on him, place the sin on yourself. Blame yourself. Point the finger at yourself. Say it's your fault. It's my fault. Because if I really would have cared about him, if I really would have come from a place of love, if I would have spoken genuinely, just with the intention of helping that person, if the words would have come from the heart, then that person would have listened. Because the Friediker Rebbe says Hashem has promised that any words that come from the heart will enter the heart. If it comes from a place of love, other people will take it. And therefore, if the person didn't take it, if they didn't accept your criticism, it's a sign that you don't truly love them. You don't really care about them. You are not coming solely from a place of love, solely from the intention of trying to help that person. It is your fault. Don't blame it on him, blame it on yourself. And this is the Torah approach to criticism, to rebuke, to admonishment. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.